Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. English speaking video today with a very special guest. In a few moments, I will be joined by saxophone player and composer Muriel Grossmann. I was lucky to catch her show last autumn in Paris for the Jazz à la Villette festival. She will be answering a few questions of mine just in a moment after a quick intro for my French viewers. Bienvenue les amis pour, vous l'aurez compris, une petite vidéo en anglais. Je vous propose aujourd'hui une interview de la saxophoniste et compositrice de jazz Muriel Grossmann, dont j'ai eu la chance de voir la prestation lors du dernier festival Jazz à la Villette à Paris en automne dernier. Pour les non-anglophones, pensez à activer les sous-titres français sur YouTube. Bon visionnage, à très vite. And we are good. So, Muriel Grossmann, hello. Thank you
Hi.
very much for being my guest tonight. I'll introduce you with a quick biography, and then we'll kick off with the questions, if you like.
Yes.
So, you were born in the 70s in Paris from an Austrian family. You grew up in Vienna, Austria. You studied classical music very early on. In fact, you practiced flute until your early 20s. Yeah. Then you switched to saxophone, and you played a broad variety of genres, such as funk, jazz, of course, and R&B, soul. So you're a
Well,
touring and recording artist since the late 90s, yeah, early 2000s. You have about 30 records out since then, including this here that will show a bit. So it's record that you put out in 23, yeah, on Soundman Record. It was highly praised as a deep spiritual jazz gem. I think you're seen as a spiritual jazz, modern spiritual jazz master in a way, yeah. So you have two records out recently. You put out studio records at the end of 24 December, I think. It's The Light of the Mind. And you will put out a live recording in Cologne, Köln, that is out at the beginning of March, if I'm not mistaken.
yes.
Yeah. So we'll kick off with the questions. So, Muriel, coming from a classical background, how and when did you transition to jazz music? At what period in your life?
Yeah, so as you said, I first came from the classical music, and I got my first saxophones around when I was 20, and then I really started to listen more to the music of Charlie Parker and Jerry Mulligan and other great jazz musicians and other great jazz saxophone players. And that really made me go deeper into jazz. It was their sound, but also these endless possible possibilities of melody and harmony and rhythmic possibilities and variations, and then the freedom inside of the structure. And then also jazz is a very wide. It has a lot of sub genres, so it's very interesting, right? So and then but I think what got me most drawn in was the sound of the great musicians that played it, and playing the saxophone myself. I thought, well, that's my tribe.
Okay. Did you felt immediately comfortable with the instrument, or was it a bit of a struggle because you play flute during your childhood and on?
I felt immediately comfortable because
Mm.
I always had the feeling in the flute goes too little of my energy and my air in. So for me, that was a real necessary step. As I've always dreamed about it, and somehow I couldn't make this change before my 20s. But I was having it in my mind already when I was a teenager, and I tried it out at that time, and I seen that just the way how I'm breathing or how much energy I put into things, it will complement my character much better, and I feel like that still.
Oh, great. Yeah. Yes, you mastered a wide variety of reed instruments. In fact, you play alto, soprano, and tenor. Would you say tenor is the main vehicle for your music?
Well, let's say like that. I started on alto, and it was for a long,
Yeah.
long time. That was my main instrument. And then later, I incorporated the soprano, which gave a lot of more possibilities, sound possibilities, and then much later, I started the tenor. And so it was really a gradual process that took a lot of time, a lot of gigs, and I did a lot of composing on all of the three horns, but I also use the piano for composing, or
Yeah.
I come from the idea of the bass. The bass line is very important in my music, and so it depends on how the idea comes about, and then I will follow up on it. How the music is, the music will lead me. So yeah, I'm drawn to many instruments.
Okay. You always carried most saxophones on tour. A lot of gear for yourself.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. People think I'm crazy. I'm always traveling with three
No, no,
saxophones.
no.
I really enjoy it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Because I saw when I saw you at Jazz à la Villette festival last year. Yeah, you had a lot on stage. So yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah. I come with
that's
percussion
great.
also. I come
Yeah,
with a
yeah,
suitcase, and yeah, it's not the most comfortable thing to travel, but for me, it's I don't think of that so much. I think more of the music and what I want to
yeah.
give to the audience, and or what needs every song. So I come more from that idea. So it's okay.
Okay. So yeah, your music is deeply rooted into spiritual jazz, of course. You mentioned Coltrane as a big influence. When we talk about spiritual jazz, Coltranean is often the adjective for to qualify his successors. And yeah, if I had to give you my point of view, my feeling, when I hear your sound, I see some Joe Henderson regarding the style, versatile, but with a great sense of nuance at the same time. Uh, can you tell us about your other influences apart from Coltrane?
Yeah, yeah. I think Coltrane is probably everybody's famous favorite saxophone
Mm,
player.
yeah,
But then it's the same for I guess for Charlie Parker, Sonny Rollins, Cannonball Adderley, Dexter Gordon, Eddie Lockjaw, Lester Young, Illinois Jackets. That's all very like the well is so deep and it goes on. Joe Henderson, like you said, and it's hard to name just a
yeah,
few. And then good luck explaining why you like this, why you like them. And these are just people that they were leading the way forward musically, and then every once in a while you find yourself being immersed in one of them, and then the music that the music of them, and they're playing the playing of those greats, and then your next, or less, at least that's how I am, and then my next phase will come along. So I would say I'm very interested always in people telling me what they hear, and I can only say that I think most of those grades are in my playing. Yeah, because I'm
yeah,
just having these phases of getting completely deep into them and then listening all their albums and all their music, or some specific album or some specific solo, and then just go on and on about that, and then surely this will find its way somehow into my playing.
Yeah, yeah. This leads us to improvisation. Of course, this is improvised music a lot. And watching your show at in Paris, it seems like a second nature of yours. Is this also big part of the creative process? I mean, where in the studio, where you're in the studios with the band, do you improvise a lot, or do you come with fixed ideas somewhere?
Yeah, so sure, improvisation. There's always space for improvisation, for self-expression, for a freedom inside of this language that jazz is, and it will be always a part of what I play, no matter or what we play, the band plays. Yeah, no matter if it's live or if it's live in front of the audience, or if it's in a recording studio. So surely that's also something that draws me to this music, because there is these vast possibilities, this let's say, it's also, you can time wise in a composition. Yeah, I probably compose the themes, and I compose so I am composing the themes. Yeah, and then I'm composing the feelings for each soloist, let's say, to so that the composition gets into, has a journey, has a bow, or is where I want to, where it leads. Yeah, but
Yeah,
all the rest is like is improvised, and I personally love this music where there's a lot of improvisation, and where you can really hear how the band develops a language to each improviser. Yeah, so
yeah,
I love this chemistry that the band is developing over time, also to be able to let the improviser at that moment, doesn't matter who it is in the band, let the improviser um, float on top, or let the improviser sound the best. So for me, for this, I love the improvisation very much, because it's really a thing. For me, it's a band thing. The improvisation is a band
yeah.
thing. Yeah, although you could say, well, but each of you has a solo, and then you're just solo. No, it's not. It's not like this, because the band is giving the ground for this improvisation, or giving all the landscape for this improvisation.
Yeah, you create paths, and then you stay open with the main thing in head. It reminds me a bit of an Ornette Coleman interview. You're working on a project, an album, an homage to Hornet. Yeah, can you tell us more about this?
Yeah, so I think it will come out probably in the middle of the year, and
Oh, yeah.
it's a recording. It's a trilogy, and this is the first of the three records that I was. It was a 3 days recording
Okay.
session, and it was the first day of the recording, and I composed. I was very much into listening to Ornette at that time. That was around
Hmm.
2012, all this time around, before, after, and I wanted to play homage, make homage to Ornette by composing
Mm.
in, let's say, having him leading the way. Yeah, so in his manner, composing in his manner, playing in his
Mm.
manner. At that time, I
Did,
played a lot of avant-garde, and
mm.
um, and
Did you
and
met him? Because I think he died in 2015, if I'm not wrong. Did you met him?
No,
No?
I met with Joachim Kuhn, and Joachim Kuhn,
Okay.
for me,
Mm.
the direct connection to Ornette, because
Hornet, of
Joachim has
course.
played town hall live with him. He has played
Yeah.
many concerts. He has a vast experience with how he was composing. There's a lot of compositions that are not out yet that Joachim has from Ornette.
Oh, yeah.
Um, Joachim took a lot of influence. He was very influenced by Ornette. He was very fascinated by him, and then they had a wonderful
Chemistry. Yeah.
chemistry, and they a vast a vast field of where they were trying things out,
Mm.
and Joachim, since I am close friend of him, he was always he was sharing a lot of his experience with me, his composition. He was letting me hear some unpublished records,
Oh,
published records,
great.
listening,
Mm.
and so I got. I was, let's say, I had a feeling nearly as if I would have met Ornette. Of course, I haven't met him, and it would have been incredible, but I haven't had
Yeah.
the chance.
So did you record with Joachim Kuhn also?
Well, with Joachim, we were always recording and playing live on Ibiza, but it was never something that made it to his main label. It was always just like we playing together, we're making a sessions, we're making jam, we playing on
Oh,
Ibiza,
yeah. Just
playing.
jams. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we I have some recordings with him. Yes.
Okay, great. Speaking of your current touring band, you have long-term collab with guitarist, I don't know how to say it,
Vladimir
Radomir Milošković. Yeah,
Milojkovic. Mhm.
Milošković, yeah. The interplay of the two of you is strong. Yeah, and hearing your last album, The Light of the Mind, this is also very, the organ, the keyboards is also very forward. Um, can you tell us more about the chemistry with your actual band? You with them since about 10 years, I think.
Well, with Radomir, I play music together since 2002. So it's 22
Okay.
years I'm making music with him. Is It's really a long time collaboration that has developed my language and his language. We have developed it over the time together, and he's a part of all my projects. Yeah? But I can say that the quartet is my strongest vehicle for expressing my
Yeah.
compositions. It was always, yeah, because also for Ornette, for example, that's a quartet record with my previous quartet, and
Okay.
I really love the interplay of those instruments, drum, guitar, and I had a bass before. Now I'm really into Hammond. So we have Abel Boquera right now in our band. He was on Devotion that you were showing, and
Oh
he's
yeah.
also
Yeah.
on The Light of the Mind, and also on that live records. It's Abel Boquera from Barcelona. So we've incorporated the Hammond, which gives us actually a quintet, if you want. So because he has
Okay.
the chance of you have the left hand bass and you have the right hand that can make the thumping, and as being an organ you have like actually it's orchestral, the sound. Yeah, that's what I like about the
Yeah.
organ. You have this orchestral sound because you have this flute type of sound, and
Yeah.
well, like
Because the
like
sound stage sounds huge. Yeah. It's
yeah,
this kind of
the
sound.
yeah, and you
Mm.
have the possibilities of vary the sound of the organ very much. So it gets, of course, a little bit of psychedelic vibe also. I really love the organ, I have to say, and the drums for me, of course. So for me, the quartet is I'm really into this format. I think it's perfect. I really enjoy it very much. It's very direct, simple, effective. It gives a lot of space for individual playing. It has a wide dynamic range. Yeah, so from a whisper to a thunder, if you play in the quartet, no,
Yeah.
and it sounds
Yeah.
very
Sure.
full. So for me, it's the right format, and um, and then you can concentrate on also on things that maybe you didn't hear before in a quartet. So sometimes I'm trying, as I say, I'm thinking more orchestral.
Mm.
Um, in the end, it's a quartet, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Did you think about other configurations like solos or duos
Um,
for the future? Or it's
uh,
not on your mind at all?
not on my mind at all. I have to say, I like
Yeah.
composing for the quartet, and I like composing for the band that I'm playing
Mm.
with. now. So I'm really enjoying to going deeper and explore more of the band of this band. Yeah, I really enjoy how it sounds.
Yeah, you feel very comfortable as a band leader. Yeah, I
Yeah,
understand.
I think they are great. I'm very thankful to be able to have them. Yes,
Yeah.
play.
So at the beginning, I was showing this record of yours
Hmm.
that was released in 2023, Devotion. It was released on Jack White's label, Third Man Record. How did you come to sign a record deal with them? I think you were part of a compilation, Miles Davis compilation in the 20s, I
Yeah,
think.
it was not complete. So they were calling me to make a record for them. That was, and then the pandemic started.
Oh
So
yeah.
it was a
Mm.
long period. And after it was finished, they contacted me to be part of to make like compositions for a 7-inch single for this box set of the Fearless. I actually have it here. I can
Yeah.
show. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah. So for this uh,
Okay.
triple Fearless Miles
Yeah. Yeah.
live at Fillmore East in 1970, and this was
Yeah.
it's a triple album, and they since it was a box set for the it's a subscriber box set.
Yes, it's a subscriber thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Subscriber only.
Mm.
It's a package, right? So it comes
Mm-hmm.
the triple, and it
A
comes
box set.
single,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
contemporary artist was supposed to interpret Miles, no, beside the Miles
Okay.
triple. And so I thought that was a fantastic idea, and I never had done this also, and Miles is a big influence on us, so we were really happy to do that. And then after that came out, they asked me for the original deal with them to make the record that you had in the hand, the double record that's called Devotion. And
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed working for them because they're all most of them in the team are musicians,
Yeah.
and really a great bunch of people. They're really dedicated to music and also to making the artist feel good, because they give me total freedom. There's no restrictions in how
Mm.
long this be, how many, whatever, how should the cover look. I had a really a freedom, and I was also really happy that I would be sure that the highest quality of production, the 180
Yeah.
gram vinyl, the thick
Yeah.
carton that I
The
so much
usual stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
cherish, uh, can be done with them. So the record is burning.
Did you record to their studios in Nashville, or was it done in Europe at your place?
It was done in Europe. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, your label is I have no memories. I'm sorry. It's Dreamland Records.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's you have almost, I think you have 25 releases on this label. Always work you always work with the same team.
Yeah. So the label, I really started to be able to bring out my music without restrictions,
Mm,
without in my let's say with my standards, right? Whenever I
yeah.
want, how many I want, how the covers should look. So that was the idea of the label. I'm not now having a label for. I'm not inviting other artists. I would not have the time for it. It's really a label
Mm,
that I found it to be able to release my albums, and I have 17 albums out, but I have some other some let's say 17 albums that are like kind of continuous a continuous how you say story, but I have some other albums also, yeah. So
yeah. On
and
hold.
I
Yeah.
mostly made CDs, and then the ones that the when we started with the vinyl, I now have Natural Time. I've brought Natural Time out, which was on the CD before, and now I brought it out on as a vinyl on the Dreamland records. And anytime I want to bring a record out, or I don't have anybody else to bring a record out, I will bring it out. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah.
Your covers, the cover art of your records have they have a very special aesthetics. Paintings are these your paintings, or do you work with an artist, the same artist?
Yeah, they're all our paintings. So that means I painted a lot with the kids when they were small. So I have
Yeah.
a vast archive of paintings at home,
Yeah.
and occasionally, if I need another album cover, I will again paint. So I anytime I have time, because it's very relaxing for me, I paint. So um, actually, this will be probably the four ornets.
Oh.
Yeah, nobody knows yet.
Oh, yeah. Great. That's a scoop. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so I thought just it was, we were thinking a lot, Radomir and me, how we should do it, photos, band photos or whatever. But I had so
Mm.
many paintings around, and I really like that play with colors, and I thought it represented very good the music. So that's how this came upon. And sometimes you have a cover that is totally made by one of my kids. For example, you have Momentum.
Oh, yeah.
That's completely made by my son. And sometimes it's a combination of all of us painting. You have, for example, Universal Code that everybody was painting on this. Even
Mm.
Radha was painting on it. Ayelen, my daughter, and my son, and yeah. So each of
So,
them has
yeah.
a story.
Family work. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. You have this new live recording that you will put out at the beginning of March. It's live in a venue in Köln. It was an important show for you to release on CD and vinyl.
Yeah, so this was a real great concert in the club that's called King Georg's Club in
New York. Yeah.
and we had a great night of music, and the band was really on fire, and it was burning, and it was in the middle of a tour, and I recorded all the shows of the tour. And then later on I heard those recordings back, and the Köln was really some yeah, it was a great gig. So I talked with the people from the club, and especially with Hermes, and he actually had the idea of making a label. So he said, "Oh, you should be first released on my label." So we are, let's say, we are the first release on Powerhouse Record, which will see
Okay.
live on the 5th of March. This record will come out.
5th of March.
And
Yeah.
on Powerhouse Record, and on my label will come out the CD. And
So the
actually,
vinyl comes out on this particular label. It's the
yeah,
first release, and
that's the
yeah,
CD. The CD
the
is out
CD.
on Dreamland Records, and the vinyl I still didn't get. But on the vinyl, you
Okay.
have the painting of one of his artists, one of his friends, because
Okay.
it's his label Aesthetics, and yeah. So I made the CDs because he just brings out the vinyl. So. Mhm.
Okay. So yeah, what's your take on the current state of jazz on your peers? Do you feel affiliation with the current European scene? We talk a lot of the UK jazz scene, for example. Who are your favorites among your peers, actually?
Hmm. Yeah, well, there's so many musicians right now. It's a
Yeah, as
vast
many. In fact.
scene.
Mm.
And each of the countries, they are trying different angles and new angles. They are all trying. They are all having their own language, and they are doing their thing. So it's a lot of interesting stuff out there. The jazz in Europe was always in good hands. So there are a lot of great musicians until today, and you always had France and Germany were always leading the way, and now you have the British scene, which is also very strong, right? And you have the
Yeah.
Scandinavian scene, which has a great musicians, and so does Italy, and so does Spain and Poland. They all sound little bit different. They have a different angle on the music, and it's very difficult to say because there's so many. Yeah, so I wouldn't even. I like very much, for example, Émile Parisien. If we talk from
Mille
the French,
Parisien, yeah.
and
Mhm.
then you have Christian Lillinger, with whom I also recorded. He's doing his stuff, and you have Vanya Slavin in Germany, and you have this guitar player that I really enjoy that now lives and works in New York. That's called Pasquale Grasso. He's actually an Italian guy, a student of Barry Harris. I love what he's doing. So there's actually so many, and I can always find more. Yeah, so I yeah, it's very vast and
Yeah,
pulsating,
sure.
let's say like that. Mhm.
So you were in the middle of a tour right now.
Oh,
You're
mhm.
you were
Yeah,
on a break, I think. Yeah.
let's say the tours and the concerts are slowly starting again. Yeah, we have always
Okay.
this. We go probably end of the summer. We go on tour, and then beginning of the year, and then we'll start our regular work as a quartet here on the island. So we have now a concert in Serbia and Belgrade, and we were supposed to have one in Greece, which actually is postponed for September.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
then there is other tour dates that will come this year. I'm not still. I'm not supposed to say anything until I'm completely
Okay.
sure, and then I
Until
will.
the deal is secure.
Yes,
Okay.
and then
I
I will
understand.
announce it for sure.
Yeah. Do you have toured the USA, or are you interested into touring? You have this venue in New York, or the US jazz great venues. Are you interested in touring those?
Of course, I'm very interested, and we are talking about this for more than 2 years, and it should have
Hmm.
already happened, and it somehow didn't work out. And I'm confident we're gonna make it. I mean, we're gonna make it there. I'm not sure when exactly, but I cannot wait. I really
Oh,
enjoy the scene in America. I also have to say that I think that most of my fans are sitting in America uh, because they are
you have a
drawn.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that the ones that are really. I mean, there's a lot of fans all over Europe, right? But I have to say that I can see a consistent fan base, a very consistent fan base. So they buy everything what I have. If they buy one, they buy all, and they ask
Yeah.
me to come. And they are mostly Americans, and so I really would love to have the opportunity to bring the whole band over. I could easily go myself, mount a band there. It would not be such a problem. The problem is bringing the whole band, paying the working visa,
Hmm.
and getting that much shows in to be able to play in this working visa because it's
Yeah.
expensive, and the venues, they have to be sure they fill it up, and like always right now, so many musicians, but I think we're gonna make it, and I really want to go. Yes.
Okay. So is a Bandcamp your main input for selling your music?
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Bandcamp is really, I would say, I'm sure it saved a lot of artists, or at least
Of
it
course.
gave
Yeah.
exposure of a lot of artists, a platform that gives the artists the direct communication possibility with their fans, and on top, it's very good managed. Yeah, so it's so easy to put up an album. It's You can set up your own price. Everything is, you can change things very fast. The web page works beautifully. There's really no faults in it, and they seem to be very interested community. The band, I mean,
Yeah.
the makers of the band, or because they contact you and say, "Oh, we
Hmm.
see you have a new album out, you want," and they put you on Bandcamp weekly, which gives you a lot of new fans always. So I really think Bandcamp is great for artists. I love it. So for me, it's beside of course, what is for my regular fans, it's great because they always see what I have new. I can make a direct message to all of the
Mm.
whatever 1,000 fans I have. It comes to all of them at once. They read it, they react. But then, of course, when you play live, you also sell a lot of, especially vinyls or CDs. I sell also a lot. So.
Yeah.
Um, so I think playing live is still a big potential of bringing your music forward to new listeners and to your fans. Yeah, playing live
Yeah,
and
sure.
is probably the biggest. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
Well, Muriel, thank you very much for your time. This
Mhm.
was really interesting.
Mhm.
Looking forward to seeing you in France, maybe this year or next year.
I
Yeah.
think we're gonna come this year. Let's see
Okay, great.
if it happens.
Th- Thank you very much, Muriel, for your time, and hope you will be seeing you soon.
Thank you, Sylvain, and thank you.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.